are we dealing with snow, but we're dealing with 2 to 4 inches of compacted ice. And so, as you can imagine, it's very difficult to remove that amount of very hard icing from our roadways, yet we are still plowing through and making progress. And so this level of icing we haven't seen in more than a decade, and it's really probably more than a couple of decades. And so it required more equipment, which we were able to, in addition to the 120 pieces of equipment that we added this year, so that was in addition to the 360 we had last year, we added an additional 120. We are now working with our municipal partners as well as some private contractors to add more equipment. So that has been very, very helpful. We also have specialized materials to assist us with cutting through the type of ice that we're seeing. And all of this, though, makes it a little bit, makes it take a little bit longer to get through a street or a neighborhood, the heaviness of what we're dealing with. So we understand the frustrations, we understand the concerns, but we have a job to do and we're doing it. And I want residents to know that I've made a deliberate effort to update the community daily, and in some cases multiple times a day, through our media partners and our social media platforms. Transparency and communication matters, especially during an event like this. So even when it's difficult, I'm going to be here before you, letting you know what we're doing. In fact, last night I was out personally in the field until about 11:30, inspecting what I expect from the contractors and employees here at the Department of Public Works and Transportation. So I was able to see firsthand the work that we're doing and really the difficulty of the work that remains to be done, but we are getting through it. Today I will continue traveling throughout the county, checking streets and residential neighborhoods personally. I want to be very clear that we are placing a special focus at this time on our central and really southern part of the county, which has historically been left behind during storms. And so we know that's not acceptable, and we're making those parts of our county a priority. They're larger, and so it takes a little bit more time to get through those roads, and there's a lot more neighborhoods, but we are getting through it, and we're actively getting through it, and most of those communities will see a marked difference within the next few hours. And so after meeting with my leadership team, I've directed that the county be substantially passable by midnight tonight. And so that's neighborhood streets, as well as, of course, our primary and secondary roads have been clear for a little while now, but our neighborhood streets be substantially passable by midnight, and we believe that we can meet that goal. To support that goal, my office has mobilized a strike force team led by my office to assist the Department of Public Works and Transportation with a targeted focus on cul-de-sacs, narrow streets, and hard-to-reach areas where trucks have difficulty turning or fully clearing. And we've seen on many streets, folks are parking on both sides of the street. That makes it very difficult for trucks to go down. Some cars are blocking streets as well, and so we, in some cases, have had to tow cars. And we're just asking our residents to help us. If you have to park on the street, which we're asking people to try not to, but if you have to, please park on the even side of the street. Now, when I say substantially passable, that doesn't mean that your streets will be clear to the pavement. So I want that to be clear. It means that a plow or heavy equipment has passed through at least once. One travel lane is accessible, and the road can be traveled with reasonable care. So you may see some snow, but it is passable, meaning a normal car can drive on it, but of course exercise care and caution. And so we know again that a lot of our residents, we have been able to take care of their neighborhoods. We really have. But if you're in one of those neighborhoods that have not seen a plow as much, then we know that you're concerned that maybe we haven't, we don't know that your community needs attention. But understand we do know that, and you are being heard. You're helping us by contacting us through 311 because that helps us know where we may have missed an area, or it was difficult to get down a cul-de-sac and we need to come back to that cul-de-sac. So we appreciate your calls, and we know that the partnership we have with our community is the most important partnership that we have. I also want to take a moment to thank our partners supporting our Silver, it's a tongue twister, Silver Shovel Program, who have stepped up to help our residents, especially seniors and individuals with limited mobility. We've been able to help hundreds so far, of seniors and individuals with limited mobility clear their properties. We have received more than 4,000 requests. So at this time, we are at our capacity, and so we can't take any additional requests right now, but we're going to get through those, and then we're going to see where we are in the next day or two, and then we hopefully will be able to open that up for more residents. But I know, and I've personally gone out to see that program in action, and it is such an important program for our most vulnerable residents. We ask residents to stay off the roads when possible. Again, park on the even numbered side of the streets to help us. Snow-related service requests can be submitted to PGC 311, and plow update progress can be tracked at pgctracksnow.com. To our DPWNT crews, contractors, and partners working under extreme conditions, I want to say thank you, and I know our residents are thanking you right now. You are taking great risks. You are out there at night when your families probably want you at home, but you're out there making sure that the homes in Prince George's County are taken care of. And so we appreciate you. And to our residents, we ask again for your patience, for your grace. Know that we are committed to you, and the team is working hard on you. So thank you very much. And that ends, I think, this portion of our press conference. We are going to go out on several streets throughout Prince George's County so that you can actually see the good progress that we're making and the work that we are continuing to do. So thank you.
Question?
Sure.
So I covered on Friday the preparation.
Oh, yeah.
And you had indicated the county was ready.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying you weren't.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems as though things kind of changed from the snow event to the ice event. And I'm wondering, was there anything different that should have happened to better prepare for the ice portion of it? And now we're kind of everyone is kind of in this situation where we're like blocked in.
Well, yeah, I think this is happening all over our region. So it's not just Prince George's County. You like to report on Prince George's County, but there are a lot of
Prince George's.
right. But this event is a problem for the entire region. So D.C., Montgomery County, Howard County, other jurisdictions are dealing with the exact same thing. So we have the material that we need. Of course, we can always use more equipment. We'd love to have as many pieces of equipment out there on the roads as possible, but we did get an additional 120, so we were prepared in that way. But and now it's really about execution, and it's about continuing to add assets where we can, and just listening to the residents, making sure that we're hitting those streets and those side streets, letting residents know when we can't hit their streets because there's too many cars parked in some areas, not in all, but in some areas on those cul-de-sacs, which makes it very difficult. But we are prepared. We have been prepared. We're dealing with it. This is just a different type of weather event, one that had not occurred in more than a decade. And so around the region, all of my partners are dealing with the exact same thing. But we feel good about our preparation, and we're executing our plan.
I know you guys have been asking for residents to stay patient as you try to work through the entire county. It's a big county.
It's a big county, and we're bigger, let's say, than the District of Columbia. We have more neighborhoods than some of our surrounding counties. So it's a different equation for Prince George's County. We have rural areas, we have suburban areas, we have urban areas, and so some of our streets are just really, really long, even in neighborhoods. So that people may say, "Oh, part of my street got done, but this other part didn't." But some part of the street might need one piece of equipment, the other part might need another type of equipment, so we're working through it.
Yeah, and we've talked with some who are still stuck. I know you said you're trying to get to more
Oh,
parts
yeah.
of the southern part of the county. But some people said they've been calling 311, but they've been told the message of, sorry, we just can't take any more addresses right now. We can't get to you at this moment. Is there any response
Well, the 311 system is there designed to tell us where their, residents have concerns or complaints. But we also have a whole operation to get through the entire county. So whether we hear from them on that 311 line or not, they're on our radar, because if it's a county road, we're responsible for it. And so there's a plan. Our county is broken up into 43, is it 43 residential? Yeah, residential snow districts. And so each one of those districts incorporates the streets here in Prince George's County. So the crews have a plan to get through those streets, all of the streets of Prince George's County. The 311 helps us to know if something was missed or what have you. And that's also why we added our strike force team, so that we can go to those areas where maybe a cul-de-sac was missed or a couple of cul-de-sacs were missed, but we were active along the main drag of the neighborhood and things like that. So we're adding more assets to be able to address some of those 311 complaints, but just know that the 43 snow routes incorporates every street in Prince George's County.
Aisha,
Yes.
yesterday I interviewed some seniors in Largo who were very appreciative of your silver shovel project. What's your message overall to the community that you guys are on the job, you're trying to do the best you can? Just what would you say to people?
Yeah, we are doing all that we can, and what we are also doing is taking a compassionate approach, because we know that snow is experienced differently by our residents, depending sometimes on their age or their ability to move around. And so we are doing all that we can to show them that we do care and that we do understand that their own personal walkways sometimes are a challenge, and even though it's their responsibility, we know that it's very difficult for some of our residents to cut through ice, and I can't imagine at 70 or 80 or 85 or even older, and in some cases, trying to get through ice. And so that's why we developed this program, and it's working extremely well, and those residents are very, very happy.
I've been hearing from residents in one neighborhood in Fort Washington who look at the tracker over there. It says their street was serviced within the last day or so, but they look out the window, they say that's not been the case. How many calls from different neighborhoods are you getting about that, and what are residents supposed to do when the system says, hey, we came through with a plow, but that didn't happen?
So, and I'll let the director talk about that a little bit more. Sometimes you're looking out and you're seeing, white, like a white sheet, you feel like, but remember, there were, I think, like 7 or 8 inches of snow. And so you may be seeing 1 or 2 or 3 inches. And so it does look like nothing's happened, but something did probably happen. And it's not that they're not going to go back through your area. It just shows that there was some progress made there, and then they'll come back to complete it. And so that's why those 311 calls are extremely important, because that tells us that even those neighborhoods that we may have hit, that we still need to go back to do additional work. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, County Executive saying. So as the County Executive mentioned, the tracker is tracking the transponders that are on our plow trucks as well as our contractors. For this particular storm, we knew a lot of ice would be an issue, So we mobilized additional construction equipment, CIP type equipment, graders, loaders, things of that nature. Those pieces of equipment don't have the transponder on it. So they are servicing areas. However, it may not necessarily track. So we have a workaround to sort of make the map catch up with, so we're reporting information that's, correct. But it's sometimes there's a lag in getting that done. But the plows do go through the routes, and they will go through multiple times in a snow operation. So when someone looks out the window and they say, well, listen, my street hasn't been serviced, that's not always the case. That's not necessarily what has happened. The plow could have gone through it. It will come through several times before we're done.
So there's no chance that there were any like false markings down, like the driver might have just seen the street and for whatever reason couldn't go down or whatever, just, said they did or not? Like you're saying, for certain, they definitely had somebody come through there.
Unless, well, there could be cases like cars, as the county executive mentioned, sometimes cars impede the plow's ability to enter the street if people are parked on both sides or if their car is broken down. We unfortunately had to tow some residents, which you don't normally do, because streets were inaccessible. Their car had broken down or they'd abandoned it somewhere in the middle of the street. And then we really have a problem. We're not able to service that road unless we tow the vehicle out. So, there are many variables that that occur in a storm of this complexity, and that's one of the scenarios that could explain that.
There were some neighborhoods, last year, I know you paid particular attention to, there were some hearings and things like that, and it was my we're kind of hearing from the same neighborhoods, unfortunately, that kind of the same thing is happening this time, like a little bit of a deja vu. So are you able to explain that at all in terms of why this is happening to them again? I believe last time it was a different kind of issue where there's some steep hills in the county and it was very slippery, but, some of those folks are a little concerned again that the same things happen.
The area last time that you're referring to was in the Hillcrest Heights, Clinton area, which is our Snow District 3. So in preparation for the storm this time, we, as the county executive mentioned, we acquired enhanced salt. So the salt that is in the dome that if you look out the window, there is a sodium chloride based salt, which is effective to around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. This enhanced salt that we use is a magnesium chloride mixture with beet juice to control corrosion. And that's effective to about negative 25 degrees. So in advance of the storm, we pre-treated the entire county, but in that particular area, we pre-treated with that specialized salt. And then we also put heavy equipment in there to sort of move, ice that may accumulate. One of the challenges we face, to be honest, in that area is cars that will not park on the even side. So we service it with like the six-wheel dump trucks, which are our mid-size pieces of equipment. But if a car is parked on both sides, the six-wheeler cannot get down the road. So you're sort of exacerbating the situation. So we want to be compassionate in dealing with our residents. We're not really aggressively trying to tow people away. We want voluntary compliance where we can get it. And we're working to sort of achieve that. But the workaround is to use our construction equipment to clear areas out, as well as our enhanced chemicals.
Sir, tell us your first and last name.
My first name is Michael, last name Johnson.
So both for me, Mike.
Michael, Director of the Department of Public Works and Transportation.
One more question.
Any message to the people that are still stuck in their homes at this moment that say, especially those that have elderly family members who are trying to get to doctor's appointments?
Yeah.
I know a couple have already tried to go outside themselves and shovel, slip and fell. Any message to those people?
So we have had a number of our seniors who needed to get to doctor's appointments, who we've taken them there. So if anyone needs assistance, you can reach out to the county through 311 to get, a transportation to get to doctor's appointments. That's something that we offer as a service from Prince George's County. So now we are going to head out to the roadways, and I look forward to seeing everyone there.
The county executive has allowed us to offer some of you a ride along, and I think one or two of you have asked about going up in the helicopter. So let's follow Angela, for the ride-alongs, and then I'll talk to the people who wanted to go up in the helicopter, because we've arranged that with public safety. And thank you all for coming, and thank you for getting here safely. Snow is a whole lot different than ice.
Sharon, has there been any issues with public safety, you know, like police or fire,
We
you know,
know
getting
that.
the calls and stuff? I know they're not here.
Even though in our community, and the command,
Unified.
we have public safety was there all the time. And
So what's the plow rides? Is it?
no, because of the permit,
Angela's gonna come back out, and then they got the trucks gonna pull up. They're gonna hit, they're gonna hit, like, 1, 2, 5. So we'll show the different experience.
So we can all get in a different truck?
Yeah, everybody be in their own truck.
Thanks, man.
That way you don't have to, nobody's stealing your shot.
I think our policy on going up and down.
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2. Yeah, Fox.